What grade are you giving Mike Dunleavy Jr. thus far in free agency? And what move is kind of left you head scratching? What move do you like the most? Doesn't have to be the Warriors. What are your feelers out here? What's Dame going to do? Those are some of the big storylines throughout the league. E-Dog.
We got somebody chiming in. A C- from my family on YouTube, or a D for Dre. So obviously,
not bad.
I like that. Not a big fan of the move. So yeah, if you want to call in, text in, chat in, let us know. I'm giving Dunleavy so far a B-. That's my grade.
Passing.
For his offseason. Okay. Shout out Jeff. But I think that with bringing Draymond Green back, to me, once you trade Poole, that you have to have that. That's something you can't sell to your fan base if you don't get done based on the trade you make.
It would have been a disaster.
You technically do upgrade in the immediate your backup point guard position with the addition of Chris Paul as well as Corey Joseph. The reason why I might lean right now closer to a C than a higher B grade Spadone is because they haven't addressed one thing that killed them last year, and that was size, and that was physicality, and they still, so far, have not done anything to address that need outside of bringing Draymond Green back.
And a guy that would,
matters.
Thank you, Fitz, would help the size matters aspect. Dario Saric, right? That's a guy they've been linked to. Monty Poole, NBC Sports Bay Area, said that is a top target for them, continues to be a top target. Would that satisfy you, though? If you're a Warriors fan, a guy like Saric is like, all right, CP3, Saric, Corey Joseph, is that... And then I guess you count the Draymond.
I don't think Saric really helps you much in the physicality department.
No,
he's a stretch four.
He's a big guy, so he just gets some size there. Like he gets that Bielitsa type of role, if you will, right? Otto Porter Jr. Like, is that doing it for you, Evan? If you're a fan of this team, is that bumping it up from a B- to a B+?
If he can be Otto Porter Jr., then yes. But I personally don't think that's his game. Like he is a more of a finesse player. He's also unfortunately been banged up.
Bielitsa, then.
Yeah, I mean, he's been banged up, had the ACL tear, which took him out 2 years ago, played 57 games last season. If he can give you 10 to 15 minutes off the bench as a Bielitsa, I mean, I guess that's, a person he would like to have, but there might be, I don't know, like Dario Saric to me doesn't address the rebounding or defensive interior issues enough. I would love to see potentially Mason Plumlee, a 7-footer.
Steiny loves him.
I know he does. But someone a la of that caliber, someone who can just simply be a big body in the middle and maybe get up and down the floor. I don't think it has to be much. I don't think at this point they are too far from their 15-man roster as constructed. And who knows, maybe it's someone that they're looking to bring in or bring up through the G League. I'm not sure. But right now, I just know that this team, if you look at right now, we're talking about top 4 teams in the West. If you're looking at Denver, Lakers, Suns, and Kings, those are the teams that were ahead of them this last offseason, or this last regular season. They all have more interior presence. And so either you feel good about Kevon Looney and Draymond Green, which eventually you ran into a roadblock with, or you got to try and go out and maybe it's a trade at the deadline, it's a different acquisition. I just don't like how small they are right now.
From the YouTube chat, and you can stream us live on YouTube and Twitch. Just search 95.7 The Game and like and subscribe there. Eve Fett, maybe related to Boba or Django, they won a championship without size. Laughing emoji, laughing emoji, laughing emoji. What say you, Evan, to that? They don't need size. Size doesn't matter with this team. They've proven that.
Yeah, Draymond Green was 32. Klay Thompson was 32. Stephen Curry was 34. Both those guys are going to be all 3 of those guys are going to be 3 years older. And you're right, they won without traditional size, but they had versatility and flexibility around the perimeter. Dario Saric doesn't do it for me. I'm sorry. I don't believe that right now they are as switchable of a defensive team that can gang rebounding in the way that they did 2 years ago when they won the championship. Yes, I think this is a time, if you are trying to get older, if you're trying to slow the game down to prevent some of those havoc situations in which they can't control the basketball, well, then you might actually need to run traditional pick and roll. Like you might actually need a 7-footer to be able to dive to the basket and rim protect on the other side outside of Kevon Looney.
It is interesting how the league is slowly shifting back kind of to the big man. Now, it's a different type of big man, right? The Jokic. Jokic is doing things like, I wouldn't say we haven't seen before, but I haven't seen this type of play from a big man. And maybe I can't, like the 80s, 70s, maybe someone can give me a comp. People were saying Arvydas Sabonis was kind of like this, but he was a little long in the tooth. Didn't have a lot of, the traditional hops, but the eyes of the back of his head, the shooting. Like, is the league shifting back to the big man being the dominant guy again? Because if it is, then to your point about the lack of size, that's a problem. because Anthony Davis was a problem for the Golden State Warriors. Nikola Jokic has been a problem. Now, Draymond, can he stop him? Can he slow him down? He makes things difficult, but you're never going to stop a guy like that. So when it comes to the size, and to your point, I do feel confident about a matchup with, let's say, an Andrew Wiggins on a Jamal Murray. And I'm going to keep putting up the Nuggets as the comparison and reference because they're the team to beat. So if you have a Wiggins on a Murray, I feel pretty damn good about that. Outside of that, it's the guys like the Aaron Gordons, right? That kind of give you some problems. Like, I was so impressed with his play down the stretch, especially in the playoffs and the championship. I had not seen that from Aaron Gordon. I didn't believe in the Nuggets playing the Lakers because I didn't believe the Michael Porter Jr.'s. I didn't believe in the Aaron Gordons. Sure, KCP's been there, but Bruce Brown, I didn't believe in those guys, but they bought in and they've paid dividends for that team and that franchise going down the stretch. So can the Warriors get similar contributions from a guy like, let's say, Jonathan Kaminga? Can he make that next step for this team? Because I think that's going to be the key. Like, we're looking for this big splash, Evan, in free agency, but maybe the big splash is there all along. Maybe it is Kaminga and Moody taking that next step for this franchise.
Well, and that's another reason why, if you're a Jonathan Kaminga fan, you wouldn't want Dario Saric on the roster because he plays the same position, according to Steve Kerr. And we can take your calls on that if you believe that Steve Kerr is doing right by Kaminga. But I think that if you want him to play, that was another reason why the Draymond Green non-re-signing made sense to me if you were going to try and essentially move and get younger. But once you trade Chris Paul, you got to bring him back. Jonathan Kaminga is still stuck, in my mind, in his kind of same role. Now, will he start next season where he ended last season is the question to me, because at the beginning of last year, he was virtually unplayable. He got a hell of a lot better over the course of last season, to the point where he was a very serviceable starter when Andrew Wiggins had his 2-month absence. But can he continue to be that player if he's only getting 15 or 20 minutes a game? If you look at his splits, you can see, similar to a guy like Jordan Poole, when Jonathan Kaminga either starts or gets more than 25 minutes a game, he is a damn good player. He's an efficient player. When he doesn't receive that time, when he doesn't receive that leash, he hasn't shown himself to be a kind of a floor bearer in those 5 to 10 minute spurts at a time that he's getting in the second and third quarter of basketball games. So Jonathan Kaminga's development is absolutely on my mind. I just wonder if you are going to lean in on getting a little bit bigger, a little bit longer, a la Saric. Jonathan Kaminga is probably looking up saying, well, where am I going to play now?